The Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1 finale brilliantly set up the upcoming Season 2, leaving some key questions unanswered while also letting a group of storylines finally be tackled, after the Young Sheldon spin-off briefly mentioned them throughout First Marriage Season 1. Two major developments drove the story forward in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1, episodes 21 and 22, Mandy's promotion to full-time weather girl, which also revealed she had worked for months with her ex-boyfriend Scott, and Fagenbacher's proposal to buy McAllister auto and tires from Jim, whose serious consideration of the offer angered Georgie. With both developments centering on the McAllisters and the Coopers, most of the unanswered questions inevitably stem from where those storylines left all Georgie and Mandy's first marriage characters after Season 1's finale. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1's general direction also heavily influenced its remaining mysteries, especially in relation to the young Sheldon characters who already appeared in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage or have yet to do so. This leaves Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 with multiple storylines to unpack based on what First Marriage Season 1, Young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory established. 9. Is McAllister Auto and Tires the start of George's Dr. Tire? Georgie never mentions the start of his business empire in TBBT. Montana Jordan as Georgie and Jesse Prez as Ruben in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Episode 22 Image via CBS. Older George's introduction in The Big Bang Theory Season 11, Episode 23 presented him as a successful entrepreneur to everyone's eyes except Sheldon's, who continued to see him only as the older brother who picked on him. Dr. Tire was presented in that instance as George's tire chain that expanded all over Texas, but The Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon never revealed what got Georgie to that point. Georgie and Ruben buying McAllister Auto and tires from Jim in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1's ending could very much coincide with the start of his business empire, with no more information being available about it. However, Georgie and Ruben's venture could also be just a starting point, making Dr. Tire something Georgie creates on his own in the future after gaining experience with McAllister Auto and tires. 8. Do Mandy and Scott really not have feelings for one another anymore? Their interactions seem to hint otherwise despite Mandy's assurances. Emily Osment as Mandy and Christopher Gorham as Scott in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1, Episode 22 Image via CBS. While the boyfriend with whom Mandy worked was something audiences and Georgie knew, Scott only made his surprise first appearance in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1's finale. Mandy hiding from everyone that she had been working with Scott in Medford for months, despite doing so on and off, could have already sounded particularly evasive, but their interactions made her lies even more worrisome. Indeed, although Mandy maintained that there was nothing between her and Scott, and she wouldn't jeopardize her marriage and family, her and Scott's exchange about his fiancée not knowing anything about her in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1's ending was odd and too quickly glossed over. Coupled with Mandy and Scott's awkward interactions, they might very well have lied about it, making everything more complicated when they see one another often in First Marriage Season 2. 7. What will Jim do now that he sold the shop and is retired? Jim's retirement happened very fast and out of the blue. McAllister Auto and Tires has been the setting for so many of Jim and George's bonding moments, along with being extremely important for the McAllisters and Jim in particular, who often opposed George's attempts at modernizing it in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1. Jim considering selling the shop and retiring was a bolt out of the blue in First Marriage Season 1's finale, as he never hinted at working toward that. Particular. Jim spending most of his time at the auto shop in Season 1 also raises a major question about how he will spend his time in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2. After all, the few times Audrey and Jim were both home for the holidays, bickering was extremely common. Jim's retirement will inevitably change the newfound stability at the McAllisters, making what he'll do with his time a mystery for First Marriage Season 2 to solve. 6. Are Mandy and Georgie ever moving past rehashing their debt and age problems during fights? Georgie and Mandy's fights always lead to those recriminations. Montana Jordan as Georgie Cooper and Emily Osment as Mandy McAllister in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Episode 14-1. No matter the topic of their fight, First Marriage Season 1's finale proved that Mandy and Georgie always resort to the same type of recriminations when in a corner. Indeed, their fight after Mandy told Georgie the truth about Scott being her boss again prompted her to call him childish, just as Georgie used Mandy's credit card debt against Mandy after she asked questions about his plan to buy McAllister tires. Georgie and Mandy defended their age gap in First Marriage Season 1 to others, but its return in every fight points to their not having it truly accepted. We already know from the title and Big Bang Theory that Georgie and Mandy will eventually split up, but it will hopefully be for a different reason rather than something they have been fighting about since young Sheldon. 5. How will Fagenbacher try to sink Georgie and Ruben's business? Fagenbacher's threat sounds ominous in First Marriage Season 1's finale. Matt Letcher as Fred Fagenbacher in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage episode 22 image via CBS. Fred Fagenbacher's introduction in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1, Episode 11 painted him as a thorn in Jim's side, both for their history with Audrey and Georgie briefly going to work for him, making his proposal to buy McAllister tires unexpected to say the least. Fagenbacher's reaction to Georgie and Ruben buying the store instead is even more puzzling, given his threats to drive them out of business. Why Fagenbacher wanted to buy Jim's auto shop now was already a mystery, but his taking Georgie and Ruben buying it so personally hints at a good reason, or at least at a strong belief they might be a threat to his company. Hopefully, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 will explain why Fagenbacher is so intent on defeating Georgie and Ruben and what he will do to achieve that.